Welcome back to Signals on 91.3 Lagos Stocks. Well, this morning we'll be looking at something that affects every one of us, affects our businesses, how to do what is right to get money, how to exchange value for funds, right? I have with me, and thank you to Joseph Sani for making this possible. She's an award-winning chartered marketer, tech leader, and growth marketing strategist with many years of experience delivering go-to-market strategies and marketing campaigns for multinationals. She's the co-founder of several tech-enabled businesses, including Plenty Africa and Azara Lagos. She started her career as a client service executive, and it's plenty. But here's the thing, right? The profile is plenty. She is a tech enthusiast and advocates the use of marketing tracking and analysis tools to deliver added value to customers and increase business revenue. So you saw where I got it from. Now, more about her is she's a member of the CIM, has a BSc honors in accounting from Cardiff, and it's plenty. But here's where it gets interesting. She works with local womenpreneurs to produce and export local Nigeria textiles and shea butter products produced in Abeokuta. A fan of coffee, aerobics, and swimming, in her spare time she mentors and facilitates programs through the business hub she co-convened. I have with me Buki Osunkeye. Okay, good, I got it. Always want to get it. Welcome to Signals. Now, are you fine? Are we good to go?
Yes, we're good to go.
Okay,
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, she said something that got me laughing. She goes, I'm the 1% of the 1% of your... And I was... See, if you notice that I was laughing, you don't like to laugh, but when I start to laugh, right, something has caught my attention. Now, for... Wait first. You went to... Before going to something very serious, let's start with you export the local Adire materials and our Ori. Let me use it like that. Actually, butter is still English. Ori produced in Abeokuta. Why? Why decide that you're going that way?
Because well, first of all, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you too for coming.
Thank you, Oshodi, for being such a hilarious radio host.
Okay.
I'm definitely entertained this morning. So I'm very happy to be here. I always like to talk about business, and I always like to encourage other people to also, get into business and grow their business. So my name is Buki Osunkeye. Good morning. Nice to meet everyone. I'm going to talk mostly about Azara Lagos because that's something I've been doing for quite a long time in different facets. So why do I do Adire and shea butter? The business started many years ago, around about 2005, and back then we were making leather bags. And I found that, in Nigeria, we're so focused on importing. We're always importing. We're always buying things from different countries and all that. And, in my own little way, even though I'm one person out of 200 million, I felt that it's very necessary to contribute to Nigeria's GDP. I felt that I should be selling something from Nigeria, manufactured in Nigeria, and this was my chance. Even though our handbags back then were made in Nigeria, but we diversified and started producing a whole bunch of different things. And so why Adire and shea butter from Ogun State, right?
Yes, sir.
Because I'm from Ogun State!
Oh! Okay, so how's that been like having to export it to... Where do you export to?
The UK and the US for now, and mostly the UK, but we're very open to many other different markets.
How's it moving? People are using our... Anyway, Nigerians are leaving, so they want their...
Incidentally, it was really, it was coincidental. It wasn't expected, right? But what we found that the shea butter actually sells more to foreigners than here.
I want to see finish.
I mean, there's a great reason for that. I like to be very, very efficient with my market research, right, and with understanding our customers. And so what I found is that because of our weather here, that is so warm, people tend to use Ori. No, my shea butter. I'm going to continue to call it shea butter.
Yes,
shea
call
butter
it.
cream.
Let me call it Ori. Because it's too early for me. I'm only speaking now.
Yes, you see, you just said exactly what the issue is with our customers here. They feel that because of the weather, it's very
shiny,
thick and shiny and
oily.
oily.
If they've used Ori for you,
you see,
you will not like it.
you see, and for us, we now found out that the customers that bought to go and resell in the UK are the ones that kept coming back. right?
Okay.
So we all know that our cosmetics runs out, maybe sometimes 30, 60, 90 days. And we just found out that there were certain customers that consistently were coming back, returning to repurchase at certain points of, of every season. And we found that they were reselling in the UK. They were reselling our products. And we said, you know what? Let us ourselves start to stock it in, in UK channels. And that's sort of how it started. So we found affiliates, we found resellers within the market that we sell it to in wholesale, in bulk, and they then themselves now put it into different stores and they sell it on different platforms.
Okay, good. Now I've taken you out of that.
Yes.
Into there's so many business owners too who are a bit stuck on what next. You found a problem that the thing that I'm producing, the shea butter here, I've got the shea butter cream that I'm producing, people are making much more from. And so how me, that I'm the creator, how then do I diversify, balance and scale?
Okay.
Because that's what you've just done with that, and that's why I asked.
Okay, so let me look into that. So first things first, I always say is that you have to be very visible. You can't just say you do business and then you're in one corner. I mean, I've listened to the people who've called in today. Really, a lot of people are doing very amazing things. I heard, the guy who's selling the inverters, the person who sells, I think she said moringa tea and ginger tea. And people have to know about you. When you look at it in terms of marketing and growth, right? The more people that know about you, the more people that tell people, and then the more people that buy from you. But you think that just because you set up the business, then people are going to suddenly start to patronize you. They can't patronize you if they don't know you and if they can't find you. So you have to look for as many avenues as possible to be known. Just focus on being known first. I've seen a lot of people who attend trade shows that that we go to, or pop-up stores and that sort of thing. And that, by the way, is how I grew my business. The more we attend trade shows, the more we feature in a lot of these small business fairs, is the more people know about us. So when we attend those fairs, we don't expect to sell immediately. It's fine. We just take our products and we make sure that people are going away knowing that we exist. That's what's very important. And then also on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, on other people's social media, on our website. Because if you create just your own handles and put your products on just your own handles, how do people find you? You have to make sure that you are available on other platforms. One of the key ways that you can do that is to partner with people. Right? If you see people who are doing things that are very different from yours, you can contact them and ask if you can share each other's products on each other's handles. That's something that I found is very, very effective. Right? Ask somebody to post about you, and you in turn can do the same for them on their own handles. But just always focus on how can more, every day that you wake up, your mantra should be, how can I get more people to know about my product today? Yeah.
Okay, so I wake up in the morning and ensure that people know about us.
Yes.
Now, for someone who, still on that conversation, for someone who's a bit shy, some of us don't like to be known, right? And we have stage fright. Sometimes they'll ask you, what do you do? I know, for example, I'll use myself as an example. When they ask me what do I do, I'm like, I freak out first, right? And I'm like, okay, so there are many more like me who, see, I'm talking to you now.
I know. Some people don't want to put themselves out there.
Yes.
I think that's what we say. We don't need you to put yourself out there.
Okay.
We need you to put the product out there, because it's the product that sells, right?
Okay.
And so if you're somebody that is shy, that doesn't want to be in the public eye to speak, get somebody to do it for you. It's just very simple, And at the end of the day, right, what we say is that everybody has their own network. Everybody has their own cluster. Look for people who have a growing network, who can speak for you, who can speak on your behalf. Sometimes you're going to have to pay for it. That's the truth. I mean, obviously, by the time we get into the avenue of influencer marketing, we're talking hundreds of thousands and millions that you have to pay these influencers to talk for you. But it doesn't have to go to that level. For example, if you were selling to students, you can approach, people in the universities and say, you know what, you seem to have a handle that has 1,000 people. This person has a handle that has 2,000 people following them. Just ask them, you know what can I offer you for you to be able to share with your network? So you start speaking to different people to share your product. Remember to focus on the product. At the end of the day, I've seen a lot of businesses that we don't even know who is the actual owner. We don't know if it's a group of 5 people, if it's one person or whatever. But the product is out there and the product speaks for itself and the product works. Yeah.
Okay. In Signals on 91.3, we're talking growing your business, really, assessing funds, revenue. For people who don't know how to, yes, because that leads me to, I saw Mark Tech. Yes, that's marketing tech.
Yes.
So why?
Why do I say I'm a Martech?
Yes.
Why do I say I'm a Martech specialist and a marketing automation expert? Well, because the type of products that I work with, apart from Azaria Lagos, where we sell shea butter and and clothing, there are also tech products that I work with. You cannot market a tech product without doing automated marketing. It's completely impossible, because a tech product is not something that you're going to stand at a trade fair and start telling people, we market through technology. Right?
People still don't understand the tech yet.
Yes. So Martech product. What is marketing automation? What is Martech? It's basically the tools that help you to automate your communication to your customers with very little manual interaction, right? So I'm going to use a very simple example for what marketing technology is. We've heard of some of the tools like HubSpot. Okay. Right, HubSpot or Klaviyo or one of those. Once you implement it and integrate it into your technology product, and you just put the content that you want to send out to your customers on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, and all that, and you ask, you command the tool to send it out at this specific time, this specific day.
That's AI. Right, AI. No, that's not AI.
It's not AI.
Well,
it's
that's AI. That's
you're
AI.
just automating it. You understand? So I put the date there. I say to the tool, send out this email communication Friday 12 noon to this group of people. This 200 your schedule. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you for sharing your word with me. You're scheduling your communication, right? And at any point you can choose to put more products into the content that you're selling out, right? So, I mean, say for example, I'm going back to the Moringa tea lady. Yeah. Today you can send out an email on Fridays, talking about Moringa tea, talking about the benefits of Moringa tea. But the automated email that you have for the next week could be talking about the benefits of your ginger tea. But it leaves your hands free to be able to do other things in the business when you've already automated you can automate your SMS, you can automate your emails and a whole bunch of other things. If it's a tech app, we'll be talking push notification, in-app messaging, pop-ups and that sort of thing. But I know that most of the listeners here are really talking about their small businesses. So we'll just leave it to email marketing.
Okay. Now, for a time that you have started looking back and now in the business space, and again personally for people who are still wondering what do I do with myself and with my time, right? How have you been sort of balanced? If you look back so far from when you started, because it's plenty. The profile
my bio, right? She's talking about my bio.
Plenty.
That's a lot of words. Because I've done a lot of stuff over the past 20-something years.
2 decades. Yes. And counting. What did you see so far in the Nigerian business space? What have you seen change? What have you seen grown? What have you seen stock?
Okay. So one thing that I can say about Nigerians that I'm so impressed about is that we do so much business. There's somebody in Nigeria selling. You know what? Aside from maybe Lebanon, right? Lebanese people, I would say that Nigerian people are the most industrious in the entire world. In every corner of Nigeria, you can find somebody selling something, just anything. Every product in the world, I believe personally, is available in this country. Yeah. The only issue is that we don't have a lot of people who know about who's selling what. You know. So I mean, you grow as your community grows. Your business grows as the community you've managed to harness for your product grows. But people are still not communicating. So one of the greatest things that I've seen happen in that space, in the small business space, is our use of technology. If you go onto Google now and you do a search for baby clothing, you'll be amazed that so many people have harnessed the power of Google My Business, for example, to be able to pinpoint exactly where their shop is, what they sell, and how you can get there through, Google Maps. So I'm enjoying the way that small businesses are using technology to be able to draw people in. I wish a lot more people will get into it, because as much as I see these businesses pinned on the map, right, to say that there's this restaurant here, there's this clothing shop here, there's this here, all sorts of things, all sorts of people are registered on Google My Business to direct people to their business. I believe that there's still a lot more. You know, the most impressive thing I ever saw was the day there's a local woman that I buy local rice from, right? I won't mention it online because I don't want to give her free publicity. But she's Iya something. You know those Iya something,
Yes,
and they're
so-
hot rice.
Ah!
And I found her and her other branch on Google My Business. I said, can you
Oh, the
imagine
amala joint.
the amala joints? So if a business
Yeah,
as small
that
as
is so
that,
true.
if a business as small as that found a way to be on Google My Business, who are we that we're selling hundreds of thousands? What are we waiting for? Why
No,
are
we're
we
too
being
big.
so slow?
Well, we're too big.
You can afford to be big. And guess what? What is big? Is
Yeah,
big.
that's true.
What is big really?
Is
Money.
Is subjective.
So somebody who's
Yes,
selling hot
yeah.
rice is growing
Those
her
women.
business, and then you are sitting here saying you are too big. No problem.
Okay, so another thing is this, right? For the woman who, and now that we've even talked about our local women, local mothers who prepare those food for, I think, for better part of 2 weeks, I'm eating gutter rice.
I love local rice, by the way. I will. Somebody needs to hold my hands and hold me back.
We're together. We're together on this, right? Now, for some reason, they have the footfall.
Yes.
They have the footfall because of the community they're in. Now, for someone who, let's say, let's say,
Big companies.
big.
Big.
No, it's not big. Leave those companies. For some businesses who are a bit big, they're like, okay.
What we call medium-sized businesses. Yes.
I like that English. But yet they don't have the constant footfall like those women have. Some sell is a product. For some businesses, the service.
Yes. Okay, so service, like, let's talk about the painter. The painter that called in earlier on and said he's a painter, and he also, I think he said he mixes and produces paint. That's a very good example. You see, your biggest customers or your customer base grows through how you nurture your existing customers.
Okay.
I'll repeat. Your business grows, your customer base grows mostly through how you nurture existing customers. If you treat one customer well, he's going to tell 4 people. If you treat 4 customers well, they're going to tell 16 people. That's the way you grow exponentially. Now let's talk about how you treat these customers well, right? And I'm going to say that through an example. I have a guy that printed my business stamp. You know, when you register your business in CAC, and you go to the bank and all that, they require you to have this business stamp. I think it's called a seal. That silver thing that you stamp. So of course I registered my business, and I'm not kidding, maybe 2003 or so, and then maybe I needed another stamp maybe 3 years later. That's been what, like over a decade, right? I kid you not when I tell you that this guy
We're still there.
he still sends me SMSs every month.
Wow.
Still. So he still nurtures that relationship in such a way that anytime I know of any new business that is starting up now, I automatically
Think about him.
not really think about it. I recommend him. So I can't even remember now the number of people I've recommended to him, simply because he nurtures the relationship that we have. So even when I've worked on different projects that we now quickly need a stamp or we need something printed, I've ended up giving him more business, different things that are not necessarily related to that one stamp that he printed for me so many years ago, but that's because he stayed in contact, he nurtured the relationship, he communicated, so we know his business is still alive, we know he's still available. And that's the way to sell your service. You continue to nurture the relationship you have with your one customer. Then by the time you grow to 4 customers, treat those 4 customers like kings. By the time you grow to 16 customers, treat them as if you're my only customer. You're my only customer, now only you dare. Yes.
Okay. It signals on 91.3. If you have questions, comment, WhatsApp us on 0809-234-5913. If you have any challenge in business and you want her to give you a response, or you have a comment or question, call us 0809-191-3913 or 015151-913 or 015150-913. Quickly, 0809-191-3913. Now, there's something most businesses often struggle with, is having to get funds and grants. Now, I know you're not a financier, so I've put the caveat there. Right, but for some people, okay, so how do we raise money for business? And I'm sure at some point when you're trying to grow the share butter business, you had to say, okay, where am I going to get money from? Because money is a constant headache for most business owners.
Okay. So there's 2 ways that I know of raising funds, right? One particular way is reserved mostly for tech businesses, and I say mostly. We all know that tech businesses, the route that they go through is raising funds through angel investors or venture capitalists for pre-seed, the seed rounds, the various seed rounds, ABC, and all that sort of stuff. So that's a very specific niche, a very specific way of raising funds. But traditionally, for the other businesses that most of us, tech businesses are only a small percentage of the businesses in Nigeria. So most of the small businesses will, want to go the route of borrowing money from the bank. That's the reality. Or you want to get people to support you. So yes, in my business, at some points when I had to scale, I did get money. I've borrowed money from the banks. A couple of times. I've borrowed money from a microfinance bank a couple of times, and also gotten from specific people. So I'm going to go the route first of talking about when I've gotten from people, regular people. There's nobody out there who's going to loan you money if you look irresponsible. If you look, sound, act, behave, or have a reputation of being irresponsible, at the end of the day, nobody's going to give you money. So that's the first thing that you need to do as a business. Focus on yourself, who you are. What do people know you for? Earlier on, we joked about what I said when I came in here, when I said I'm a 1% of the 1%.
Yeah, so when you said that, I was wondering, okay.
And let me tell you why I said so, right? Because, you and I had been conversing, for a couple of days, and you kept asking me, am I going to get here on time? Am I going to get here on time? I said, this lady doesn't know me. I got here more than on time. You gave me a call time, and I was specifically in the compound, sat down, waiting for you way before the time, because I want people to see me as responsible. If you give a call time for a certain time, I don't want to be late. I don't want to appear shabby. So what I'm trying to say there in essence is that build a reputation for yourself as somebody who is responsible, disciplined, organized, and reliable. Right, as a human being, because at the end of the day, anybody who's giving you their personal funds to grow your business, they're not really specifically interested in the particular product. What they see is you're the person that's asking for the money, so they're handing over this money, and they want to believe that, exactly, in trust. They want to believe that as we give you this money, if you say you're going to return it in 3 months, or you're going to return it in 6 months, or whatever you said, your word is your bond. And you can only do that by showing that you have a track record of keeping your word with people. Right? And it's sort of the same way with banks as well. Banks have because I've worked in a bank before, by the way, banks have a specific way, I'll call it an algorithm, but there's certain rules that they follow to be able to know whether this person qualifies for a loan, right? So I'll give you a little hint. One of it is to see a certain number of transactions coming in monthly. You cannot come to a bank to say, hey, you know what, I want to borrow 1 million. And then you've only been making maybe 200,000 a month for the past 6 months. It doesn't work that way. And at the same time, you can't come to a bank to say, I want to borrow 1 million when you even though you've been making 1 million, for example, and there's evidence that you can repay the loan. But at the end of the day, you had to have had certain number of transactions coming in and out, and especially by the way, into the account. That means you're selling. That means you're a going concern. That means you're active. You understand? So those are the kind of things that the bank is looking for. We're looking out for, track record. We always have to remember track record. Yes.
Somebody's saying, I know, I have a product, I have a service, but I not have track record. Yeah, how do we do that?
If you don't have track record,
for some reason,
yes.
People walk up to you and say, okay, they have this product, they've tried everything that they need to try, right? And they've built, but there's no money, and they're trying to raise funds, and it can be very.
So actually, it's a good point that you just said. One of the problems, one of the things that we're doing wrong, right, is that we're not keeping records. So when you have that one customer that buys a product of even 5,000 naira, put the money in the bank. I cannot stress that enough. There's some businesses, and a lot of businesses have cash businesses, right?
Yes.
And you just think, well, I just made, let's say, 50,000 naira cash sales today, but because I need to go to the market tomorrow, right, with 40,000 naira or whatever to buy some products, to buy something, so I'm going to keep this money so I can enter the market tomorrow. Please, I beg you in the name of God, don't make that mistake. Put that 50,000 naira in the bank. That bank is your record place. That bank account. So let the 50,000 naira enter the bank account and then go back and withdraw 40,000 naira tomorrow. Do you know why? Because you need a record that you have made 50,000. It's not on paper that you're going to write that, yes, I made some sales yesterday and I record that this number of customers came. Somewhere has to. So even if you don't have a website, even if you don't have a social media account, even if you don't have invoicing and receipts, always let your money go in and out of the bank account, in and out of the bank account. That is what shows that this business.
That's the first track record.
Yes, that's the first track record that this business is making money.
Okay, we have a WhatsApp message and it says, hello Signals, great topic and great conversation. Thank you for sharing, Mrs. Buki, thank you for sharing this amazing business strategy. What are the three most important habits? What are the three most important habits of being a successful entrepreneur just like yourself?
Oh my goodness, do I want to call myself a successful entrepreneur?
For some reason, yes.
When I'm as big as Jeff Bezos,
no,
right?
Wait. You are local Jeff Bezos right now, please. Let's give ourselves the flowers because Nigerian businesses are going through a lot.
Well, we're in the
interesting times.
We're interesting times, honestly. So we're all in this together. So, what are some of the three most successful habits, right? Number one, I cannot stress enough, is discipline. Discipline. You cannot be an entrepreneur here today, here tomorrow, gone tomorrow. You understand? So when I say discipline, there's something that we, experts always say. How you do one thing is how you do everything in life, right? And a lot of times, even as a salary earner, as a staff of a company, when I look at somebody, I can tell that whether this person, they leave this place, this salary earning place where they are, whether they're going to be a successful entrepreneur or not. If you have been diligent and disciplined with another person's product, then you can manage your own properly. But if you're an anyhow person that comes to work one day at 9 a.m., then tomorrow you come at 10 a.m., then tomorrow you're giving excuses that, oh, it was because of traffic, oh, it was because of there was water flooding my road. Honey girl, you ain't going to be successful. It's discipline, right? Now, number two, I've mentioned before, again, is record keeping, right? Be obsessed with record keeping records, writing things down, showing that, you know what, I made a profit of 100,000 today, I made a profit of 20,000 tomorrow. One of the way that I started, I remember how I started business in 2002 or 2003. I was working in a company. But I started out making beads. I was making jewelry. Jewelry was very hot then.
It has something up.
I was making beads for people, right? So people from different floors in that business, that company we were working in, they would always come to me during lunchtime to say, please, I want you to make jewelry for my mother for one party. I want you to make beads for whatever. Do you know I had this Excel sheet that I was keeping all the records, right? Recording. I bought beads of 16,000 and I made it and I sold to that person for 25,000. Yes. I kept records, and guess what? I still have those records today, where I was writing every customer's name and phone number, so at the end of the day I was remembering who I'd sold to, right, and what product I sold to them. So many years later, 10 years later, 20 years later, I'm not kidding with this story I'm saying, because some people come to me and say, that you remember you made my jewelry for my engagement. I'm like, oh my God. And this person is telling me they're celebrating 10 years wedding anniversary, and I'm so chuffed with myself because, they remember, I have the records, I did this. I'm excited that I did that. So number one, discipline. Number two, record keeping. Number three, communication skills. Being able to express yourself, explain your business, and sell. So I'll call it's 2 in 1. Sales skills and communication skills. If you cannot speak, if you cannot sell, if you cannot, utter the value of your business through communication to people, it's going to be very hard for you to grow as an entrepreneur.
You have to sell and sell.
Sell and sell. You have to wake up every morning. Remember what I said? Wake up every morning and your mission on a daily basis is, today I'm going to sell more products, or I'm going to tell more people about my products than I did yesterday. There must be exponential growth.
That's number one assignment. For people, yes, one thing I saw in the profile is the wave of womenpreneurs. Yes, tell us about that. Can you tell us about the wave womenpreneurs making in Nigeria? I think,
Okay. Do you know there was, I'm not sure if it was McKinsey or Anderson or something, there was a report many years ago, right, that, and I'm not very clear, I can't really remember, but the report said that I think most households, 60% or 70% of the income of most households comes from women, right? And we need to celebrate that. We need to remember. And you know why? Because women are the ones who are sort of in charge of the home. They always say this joke how the man is the owner of the house, but the woman owns the home. the home being what you guys are eating, what you're doing on a daily basis, the activities
you're wearing.
you know. So women are out there every single day hustling. We are the real hustlers, you know, doing 2 businesses, 3 businesses, 4 businesses, selling things. You see most households, there's a woman. In fact, I wish we could open this up as a whole different topic, you understand? Because I find that, you know, I've heard stories of women selling ogi. Women are the ones that are selling ice block. Women are selling
the
charcoal.
women that are, the mothers that I see, the old women that I see. You see that little wosi. I mean, that's how they call it.
I have a person who owns a business called Wosi Wosi, by the way.
Okay.
Yes.
Those little then in the front of their houses. If it's that sugar, if it's that granite, if it's that, there's just something of that they're still busy doing, and I'm wondering.
Yes. Yeah.
Why?
I think because I'm a Christian, so I make reference to things in the Bible. There's in Proverbs 31,
Okay.
you see that the Bible does record that, you know, a beautiful woman, a loving woman, is a woman who wakes up and goes out to provide for her home. So I see that a lot of women are very entrepreneurial in Nigeria. I just wish that there was more opportunity for us to help them to grow and scale, you know, those businesses. And when I say scale, partner together, grow together, get bigger than what you are. Think beyond just making that income to just satisfy only your household, you know. And I hope that, and to be fair, I can see many organizations are really getting into that, into supporting women. We're a long way to go. In the next 10 years, I really believe that a lot of these small businesses that are scaling now will be owned majority by women, you know, within the next 10 years in Nigeria.
Man, calm down. It's not a just women should calm down. Now, still on women, I saw a report yesterday, I think by Business Day, about the pay gap. The pay gap of women. What are your thoughts? You saw it? Did you see it?
I didn't see that report, but I can see people in some of my WhatsApp groups getting very hot and bothered, discussing it, that the math is not mathing.
It's not matching at all. The numbers are not adding up. Now, what do you think about the pay gap between, I think it's generally, even across the world, there's still, men are still earning more than women. I don't know. That's...
Okay, yes and no.
Okay.
Right? I've been affected by this in my career, and it was a very painful moment for me. And it was what eventually left to me, you know, deciding that I would not spend, you know, such a long time in that particular organization, where there was another man who was on my level, who was recruited after I came into the company, and I later on found out that I was only making about 75% of what he was earning, you know, which I knew was completely wrong, because you know what, I know in my mind that I'm brilliant, I'm tenacious, you know, I'm very hardworking. So if you found a fault in what I was doing, you should let me know that I have no problem with, you know, scaling up my work. But that was not the case at all. It's a case of bias. So we still find that in a lot of organizations, and there's a couple of bosses that I had spoken to, and I'll tell you the reason. It's a very, very strange reason, and it's actually laughable
and annoying.
Right? Just laughable. I heard you know, one big business owner did tell me that, you know, why should I pay women more, because they don't need the money. And that's why I call it laughable. Yeah.
I don't understand.
So his
all the
reasoning,
makeup, all the clothes, all the expenses.
But you see, that's where we go back to. That's what they think you spend it on.
Okay.
And that's why they're not paying. So
that's uncomfortable.
I know. It's very painful to hear, but I also want to encourage women that let's de-emphasize the way we spend money on our hair, makeup, clothing. Because this very report, this very thinking is what leads to the men paying us less in the workplace. When we highlight how much we're the ones supporting the men, helping to pay the school fees, putting food on the table. I know several households where the women are the ones who feed the family. The man only pays the rent and the school fees, but then the woman has to pay the lesson teacher, maybe if there's some domestic stuff involved and all that kind of stuff. It's the man who ends up it's the woman who is responsible for that angle of the payment. So when I think women need to...
What was your response to the man when he said so?
I'm not going to lie to you. I was so beyond shocked that I could not make up an argument at that point. So I regret it, and
it's not regret. It's just because I'm wondering why is it a cultural thing? Because it happens here, it happens abroad, where we're working, all of us are working. By the time you get home, somebody's going to the kitchen, and that person...
No, but you know what? I really actually want to spend a little bit of time highlighting this, right? I really want to plead with women out there. We need to de-emphasize so much on how much we spend on hair, makeup, and clothing, because that's not the point at all. One of the biggest issues is an issue of shame. We're not talking enough of how much women are supporting the households, using their salary to pay the domestic staff, the lesson teacher, the school runs, the school uniform, and everything to do with the kids. Every single thing to do with the kids, a lot of women are carrying it in the household. Let your bosses know. Let the men in the office know, right? But because we're not talking about it, the bosses, the people who own these businesses, right, have this idea that women don't really need the money because they're being supported by the man, which is a falsehood. It's a big fallacy, So we need to shift the conversation to how much women are balancing in the household with that salary that you denied them because you think that, due to their gender, they don't require it. And that's also because of the apathy that men have towards your makeup, your hair, and your clothing.
It's not their fault.
Do you understand?
Because they cannot wait. And makeup will take time. And hair will take time. And everything will take time.
So let's really de-emphasize it and really, really focus on how much the women spend on the other domestic needs in the household. Then the men start to see that, women need this salary increase just as much as men do. And then the pay gap will start to reduce, hopefully.
That's enlightening. It signals on 91.3 Lagos Stocks. We're talking so many things. If you're just joining, you've not missed much. But God, we are working and we are being paid less. The numbers to call if you have a question or comment is 0809 234 5913 or 0809 191 3913. Now, before we wrap up, because our time is almost up, for young people who are growing, what skill set should they begin to have? You've talked about discipline, you've talked about record keeping, you've talked about track record, right? And in the era where I just want soft life, that. How then can we demystify that and say there's hard work and we need to work?
Right. I think the number one skill that every human being in the world needs to have is sales skill.
Sell and sell.
I watched a movie many years ago. I think it was DMX that was talking in the movie. There was a dialogue about how, the people out there, the people who are the sellers are the winners. But the people who are the buyers, they're just spending their money every single day, You don't want to be a buyer in the world. You want to be a seller. And whether it's a seller of the products you've produced or the services that you're offering, everybody needs to wake up every day and sell something. So even if you're a consultant, you have to learn how to sell yourself. Even as a human being, even if you're going to go to university, you need to sell yourself for them to accept you in the course of your chosen course of study, so we need to learn how to sell. It's just that basic. I think it's something that young people need to really focus on, even from the age of 12. I would encourage parents to be teaching their children how to stand up in front of people, how to talk to people, how to speak about what you're doing, your projects, your work, every single thing. Any mothers out there who are listening, encourage your children to be able to express themselves, express what it is that you've done today, ask them what you've done in school, ask them to re-explain to you what they've learnt in school, right? And then even if they're requesting something from you, ask them to be able to explain to you what they need that thing for. It starts to build the salesmanship skills and the ability to communicate within those children. And it's something that we're definitely everyone is going to need at a later stage, the ability to sell.
Okay, so let me take one more first before I let you go. Over the years, we've looked at business, we've looked at entrepreneurship as everybody wants to be their boss and all of that until you have a headache and you cannot pay money. Now, how then do we scale? When a business is stuck, the next thing is, do you die out, do you restructure, or do you scale?
Okay. So again, I want to encourage people as much as possible, don't let your business die. Traditionally in Nigeria, when we build businesses, we always assume that our children are going to grow up and like the business. Only for your child to get to age 16 and say, "Mommy, I want to be a musician," or your 14-year-old son tells you that he wants to be a footballer. You know what? That's completely fine. But we are the ones at fault, because when you were building the business, what was your succession plan? What was your growth plan? What was your scale plan? You need to put that in place already. So 2 ways that I would say that people should learn how to scale. Grow from within, right? always consistently be looking at the people that you hire, that, you know what, should anything happen to me, can I hand over this business to this person? I was talking to a lady the other day who's built her business, and she's considering moving abroad. And she said to me that it was so painful for her that the person she had groomed for 3 years decided to... well, actually, incidentally, not Jackpa, she just moved into a different field. The person that she groomed for 3 years decided to go back to focus on what she studied in university.
That's another challenge for what people not to.
But then also always be ready to break your business into equitable stock. Meaning, she's now at the point that you can bring another person in to invest in your business and co-own your business with you. Okay. So let's really move away from this era where we're expecting family. A lot of people are setting up business with as husband and wife, or they're setting up businesses expecting their children to be the ones to come and run it.
Gen Z and the Alpha.
When the world has opened up, you can't blame people. If your daughter or your son wakes up today and says, "Mommy, I want to go and live in Australia," you cannot stop them. Now go back to your business and say, can this business sell itself? Bring in a business partner, or look at, grooming somebody from within to take over the business. Let's not be precious about our business. Let's not bring in egos.
No, we're emotional.
Yeah, let's not be overly too emotional. So
and then there's issue of trust too.
Yes, but guess what? I was on a call with some people in the UK yesterday, and because we're talking, some people I met on the Y Combinator platform, and they were talking that, would you rather have zero? You know what we say about this thing? Would you rather have 0 of 100%, or
1,
or just have a little bit out of of 100? So 40% of a business is still better than the business going from 100 to 0 tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
This has been fun.
Yes, I promised.
Yes, you promised and you delivered,
Thank you.
You're a woman of your word. You said, I'm going to have fun, and fun I did. I'm so excited.
Till we come your way again next week, Saturday, like we always say on Signals, dream again, create opportunities for people, because people would also be people. Keep creating opportunity and have a wonderful week, and God bless.
I am hopeful for today. Let me take you away.